Storm Sisters, The Sinking World. Written by Mintie. Read by Katy Sobey.
To all the girl pirates, past, present, and future. On the sea, we are free. Free to be ourselves, free to go where we choose, free to speak our minds. We are not judged lesser either by our sex or our skin. Here, we are equal. And so it is on the sea that we choose to live like our ancestors did. The history books will erase us, convince you that girls are not smart, are not brave, are not powerful. We share our story to show that we are. Most importantly, we share our story to show that you are too. Chapter 1. Ship's Log, i.e. slog. Dear Diary. Oops. Need to remember this isn't a diary or Charlie will have a fit. Dear Ship, we're about a day away from Shanghai so that Lü can visit her father. She doesn't really want to see him, but she has to ask, or beg, him to let us continue using his ship. Lü's already so nervous that she hasn't kept any food down since yesterday. Though, I have to admit that we're all kind of queasy after a full week of Sadie's cooking. I hope I find some cucumber at the market in Shanghai. I'll use some of it to make a yummy salad for Lü. Poor darling really needs to eat. And some for my eyes. The dark circles make me look like a raccoon. But the nightmares won't stop. Sometimes, I even have them during the day. It's the same thing over and over again. The man with no face plunging his sword into Papa. Oops, again. Better just stick to ship business. So, here's all the boring stuff. Date, July. Or is it August already? Position, 38 degrees, 53.6 north, 8 degrees, 48.6 east. I'll ask Lü. Average speed, 5.2 knots. Wind, east. 10 to 18 knots. Ingela said it was easy climbing the masts today. Weather? Partly cloudy. My curls are going crazy in this humidity. Kisses, Ship. Sorry we can't name you, but Lü says not to get too attached, in case her father makes us give you back. They rowed in silence. The waning moon offered little light. But they were always comfortable on the water, even on a dark, deep moat leading to a forbidden city. As per the detailed instructions in the letter that Charlie was holding, they reached the eastern gate of the 3-mile wall that surrounded the old city of Shanghai. Though the brick wall was wide and tall, standing close to 33 feet, the eastern gate was a small, cramped archway, barely big enough to fit the rowboat. Swing the back to the left, and then I'll paddle through, Charlie whispered to Raquel. The rickety boat dinged the right side of the bricks, but still managed to squeeze through the tight pass. Upon entering through the gate, the two girls crouched down. Any foreigner found trespassing into the old city was immediately imprisoned. Though the letter guaranteed there would be no guards on this side of the wall, Raquel made a quick sign of the cross when she realised this was actually true. Charlie pointed to an enormous rockery further down. "I think we need to go there." They stopped paddling and let the boat gently glide to the shore. As Charlie's cavalier boot sank into the carpet-soft grass, her heart rose into her throat. When she'd received the anonymous letter this morning, detailing this mysterious mission, she'd barely had time to process it. But now, as they tiptoed their way onto the bamboo bridge, the danger was starting to hit her. Not to mention, she had dragged Raquel into it as well. Normally, she'd have taken calm, cool-headed Lü, but with Lü at her dad's, she'd had to settle for Raquel. Raquel was adept at languages, and she did seem to have a sixth sense with people, which was why her nickname was Embajador. Plus, she was becoming pretty damn good at Panchi, the storm's ancient art of dagger fighting. Panchi, which all the storm started training in from childhood, was a powerful martial art involving knife-based combat. This was why Raquel had concealed multiple daggers, throwing knives, and even a dirk, her prized Scottish dagger, throughout her body. Each weapon weighed no more than 1 to 2 pounds, with single-edged and double-edged blades all measuring between 12 to 18 inches long, which made them perfect for hiding, and absolutely deadly in spots too cramped to wield a sword. All of which, Raquel felt, might come in very handy tonight. Charlie jumped across the koi pond. Instinctively, she fingered the single pearl hanging on the flimsy silver chain around her neck. As a rule, she hated jewellery, except this simple necklace her pop had given her on the day Charlie's mother had walked out on them. 10 years later, Charlie had been wearing the necklace on the day she lost her pop, and hadn't taken it off for a single moment in the 11 months since. Though she would never admit it out loud, for fear of sounding like superstitious Raquel, she'd even come to believe the necklace brought a bit of good luck. Charlie tucked the chain inside her shirt. She had a feeling that tonight they were going to need as many good luck charms as possible. "I think you'd better get this." Raquel stepped aside as they reached the huge rockery. Her high-heeled boots were never going to allow her to make it to the top. Charlie eyed Raquel's footwear. "I told you not to wear those stupid things," she hissed. Raquel stomped her foot on the grass. "Faking like a boy isn't as easy for me as it apparently is for you, Charles. I need accessories." When they were dressed as their alter egos, the Pirettes, a group of dangerous girl pirates, they happily paraded out in the open unchaperoned, stirring up as much attention as they could. After all, they'd invented the Pirettes alias just so they could get away with things most girls didn't dare do in plain sight. However, when they were trying to stay on the down low, the best disguise was as males. Because no matter where in the world they found themselves, females were always prey, targets, or toys. Men could literally get away with murder and never receive so much as a sideways glance. Charlie's long limbs and lack of hips naturally lent themselves to dressing up like a boy. She could wear her usual flat-heeled pirate boots and dirt-stained breeches to easily convince anyone she was just an ordinary fellow. But for Raquel, who at age 15 was now officially an inch shorter than 11-year-old Ingela, her petite stature and developing hourglass figure were a lot harder to hide. To compensate, she wore a pair of 5-inch heeled boots in the fashion of short-statured aristocratic gentlemen of the day. The boots weren't particularly practical for engaging in much activity, in this case, climbing a rockery in the middle of a forbidden city in Shanghai. In fact, the tiny nobleman Raquel had swiped the boots from had been passed out drunk when she slipped them off his feet. But at least the high heels helped give her boy height. a term that Sadie deemed to have no scientific merit and scolded Raquel for using. Charlie looked up at the highest point of the rockery. Though little Ingela, who was hopefully sound asleep back on the ship, was the true monkey out of all 5 of them, Charlie's solid calves and naturally muscular arms made her a decent climber when needed. "Maybe you like Sadie's cooking more than you care to admit," Raquel chided as she hoisted Charlie up onto the rocks. "Because you're heavy." She wiped her brow with the back of her hand. "Ha! Bet you my heavy ass can make it out of here a lot faster than those prissy princess boots." Charlie stuck her foot into a crevice and shifted her weight. She looked down at Raquel and whispered, "This will be quick. I don't need to go all the way up to the top, just until I see the torch." Charlie climbed with ease until she reached a sturdy spot to stand on. From there, she had a bird's-eye view of the sprawling grounds. The aroma of lilies and cherry blossoms lingered in the air. Even in the darkness, it was evident that Yew Gardens, with its pavilions, streams, courtyards, and enormous old trees, was quite magnificent. But they weren't here to sightsee. She turned slowly until she spotted the lit torch. Hurriedly, she climbed back down the rockery to Raquel. "We need to get across, to a wall with a dragon on it. Follow me." Charlie and Raquel hurried along as quietly as they could manage, aware that besides the crickets, the gardens were unnervingly still and silent. Even the lightest of steps seemed to ricochet through the grounds. To Charlie's surprise, Raquel was able to keep up, despite her ridiculous shoes. When they reached the dragon wall, they saw a small, cloaked Chinese woman standing with a torch in her hand. "I think whole herd of elephant coming. How can 2 girls make so much noise?" She surveyed them both severely. "And why 2, when letter only to 1? "There was nothing about me coming alone. Plus, I thought I might need help with the language. And I was way too scared to do this on my own." Charlie thought better of adding the last part. It was clear by the woman's eagle-eyed stare that if she sensed even the slightest hint of fear, she'd refuse them. Charlie straightened her shoulders and brushed her red hair off her face. This woman's help was the only lifeline they had.